Welcome, robotic-eyed assassins, to Geek Salad's Retro Movie Review from the Geek Salad Podcast. I'm Andy.
And I'm Mike.
And, Mike, we made it!
Yeah!
We are celebrating the final film in our James Bond Retrospecticus. And to that, I raise a glass to you, sir, and I say cheers.
Cheers, cheers.
Yes. By the way, I am drinking the Bond Vesper Martini. I have posted the video of me making this drink on our YouTube page. So once you're done, check it out. I used up the last of my gin, so please drink accordingly and cheers.
Yes. Please tell me how it is.
It's actually quite good. I mean, martinis in general are nothing but pure booze mixed on top of other booze. And I do understand that, I'm not supposed to shake gin because I will bruise it, but it's not great gin. It's just typical $16 Gordon's gin. So I'm not too worried about the quality of it. And it tastes pretty good. A Vesper is sweeter than your typical dry martini.
It is there. See? Right there.
Oh, it is there. Okay, excellent, excellent. I'll share that with people on our Twitter and whatnot afterwards. But yes, I felt the need to celebrate because after when did we start? Did we start this in February?
It's been a while, and we
did
take a break for Disney month.
Right, but we covered a lot of Bond.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we covered a lot of Bond. So we covered 3 Connery, 1 Lazenby, so that's 4. 4 more, so that's 8.
All
2
4
Daltons.
2 Daltons.
That's 10.
4
all 4 Brosnans, so that's 14, and now 5 Craigs. That is 19 out of 25 movies.
Yeah. We're pretty bondaged out.
We are. I'm looking forward to moving on to something else, but right now we got to talk about the final Daniel Craig film, No Time to Die.
Yeah.
A film which I guess you and I have differing opinions on.
We do. Okay. I do also find it ironic that it ends. The last thing you see in the movie is James Bond will return.
Okay, so we do warn you. We are going to spoil. If you haven't seen it yet, we are going to spoil this. So please come back later if you have not seen it and don't want to be spoiled, even though the internet spoiled it for everybody,
including me.
Yeah, and me. And I was trying so hard to avoid the spoilers on this, but it is available on Amazon Prime. It is also available on Epix. If you don't subscribe to Amazon but have a cable package, Epix is usually one of those movie channels that just shows up in there. So unless you're getting like the most basic of basic, you will have Epix on there. I do recommend watching the movie, but I will say set aside some time. This is the longest Bond movie at close to 3 hours long. Yeah, I think this is my biggest complaint with the movie, is that it does go close to 3 hours. There's a lot of stuff that could have been cut from this. Yeah. But at the same time, I feel like what works in this movie works so well that like I can excuse the time. I mean, I'm not going to justify it.
Yeah. My biggest issue with it is there are just so many plot holes and script problems for me. It's not for me. It's not a very well written. But when it does click, it clicks great. But there are a lot of parts where like it doesn't make any sense.
I mean,
the whole Helios thing.
The whole what?
The whole Helios. It was called Helios.
Hercules. Helios, yeah.
Yeah. There's so many logical plot holes in that. It's like literally Swiss cheese for me. I had so many issues with it. It's a bunch of nanobots. It's only designed to kill one person, plus everybody that has a slight familial DNA bond with him.
Yeah.
Really?
All right, so let's throw this out there then, because this is the closest that the Craig movies come to actually doing the Bond thing.
Yeah.
A in this case, thank God it wasn't a sky laser. But it was, it's a world dominating virus. Ironically, this movie
Moonraker.
was held up for 2 years because of a goddamn virus.
Yeah. And
The villain has a secret lair. We haven't seen that before. He's got horrible facial scars that showed up before we met him, unlike Blofeld, where he got his iconic scar.
yeah.
Um,
And the movie genuinely feels like two movies squished together.
they do, and
It feels like the first half feels almost like Quantum of Solace, and the second half feels an awful lot like On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
right, where they took a lot of this because it was supposed to be, this was supposed to be this was the send off for Craig. We knew this going into it, that this was it. This was the last one, and when we last left Bond, he was riding off the sunset with Madeline, and what we get going into this, I almost feel like they didn't even need to do an opening credit sequence for this movie because the pre-credit bumper is the longest in Bond history at close to a half hour.
Yeah.
And I feel like I feel like when it worked better. Again, I think it could have been a little snappier. I didn't need about 5 minutes of Bond just giving her the silent treatment in the car.
Mm.
Before he left her. But I do like some of the tiebacks. I like that he does, even after all this time, he still cared for Vesper.
Yeah.
And he visited her tomb only to find out it was a wild assassination plot.
Yeah. Why, genuinely, why was Blofeld in this movie?
That's the $1 million question. This is one of the things that bothers me about this movie was that I felt like Christoph Waltz at this point could have really had a great Blofeld moment. Instead, they just went with, oh, he's still in prison, and they kill him. We've got Rami Malek's character Safin, who's the big villain, and he's not all that memorable. This would have, honestly, if you had just taken Safin out and just left it as Blofeld, I mean, you would have still had the same, plot. You still have the same, the same diabolical scheme, but it'd be Blofeld.
And it'd be a lot more streamlined.
I feel like, there wouldn't have been as many little avenues that they went on. Now, to its credit in terms of the time, I felt like while, like with every Bond movie, they do have their little detours and they go off into these things. This didn't feel like the unnecessary 3 hours of The Batman, which was literally felt like 3 different movies where the main villain is taken out an hour and a half before the movie ends. He pieces out for an hour of that movie so they could just do a completely different side quest.
Mm.
So, all right. I'm going to leave you to talk about this for a second. I actually have to take a call.
Okay.
My apologies. I will be right back.
Okay. Okay, unexpected, but sure. Christoph Waltz, he's doing like this is a whole like puppet master behind the scenes, but yeah, I mean having Safin, I think his name was Rami Malek's character, you see him like briefly at the beginning in a flashback, and then much like in the Batman, he vanishes for a good chunk of the movie. I mean, he's still kind of working behind the scenes of it, but you don't see him again for quite some time. You hear him briefly, but yeah, you don't really see him again until at least the hour and a half mark. It is a long time. It genuinely is this like I say it feels like it's a Quantum of Solace mixed with On Her Majesty's Secret Service, because the first half of this movie is really just kind of cleaning up the threads that were left open with Spectre. It's just dealing with the Spectre group and then dealing with Blofeld. And it just felt like I don't know if it was done by the same writers. I'd like to try and look it up, but I don't know if I should do it with. Well, I'm here. And
Hey, I'm sorry about that.
hello, welcome back.
Sorry, my mother-in-law needed my Netflix password, so
I'm just looking up to see if this was written by the same person that does Spectre.
it was
Uh,
Purvis and Neil and Purvis. I
Purvis
want to
and
say it's
Wade.
Neil and Purvis, but that's actually that Neil Purvis and Robert Wade were the screenwriters, just like they were pretty much throughout.
Yeah, Purvis and Wade were back, but looks like Phoebe Waller-Bridge and
Yes,
director Cary Fukunaga, they both also contributed to the screenplay.
yeah, and you could tell that Phoebe Waller-Bridge helped with this because for what is essentially the most serious tone of the Craig Bonds, it might also be the funniest.
Yeah, especially when it comes to like M, like not. Well, I mean, some scenes with M are kind of funny, and but it's relationship
I
and
Yeah.
Bond in 007.
Yes. Yeah. They did a lot of world moving in this.
Yeah,
Bond is replaced with a black woman, so dudes can just have their neck beards explode.
and honestly, I thought she was one of the best additions to this movie. She was
She was
fantastic.
excellent. Q is actually revealed to be gay.
Yeah.
Ben Whishaw is gay, so it was nice that they just incorporated that into his character. And I got to admit, out of all the like high end fight scenes in a Craig Bond movie, the fight that he and Paloma had was one of the most fun fights. I wish I could have gotten more of her and not just.
Paloma was like like she comes off as one thing, and then you're like, oh no, she has got skills.
Ana de Armas
fun to watch.
so good in this. Now, again, this is a character you could spin off.
Oh yeah,
I want to see more of her. I didn't really know her. The second I saw her, like, oh, who is she? And then I went straight to IMDb. It's like, oh, she was in Knives Out with Daniel Craig, and apparently he fought to get her into this movie because he loves her. I love her. I think she's fantastic in this movie.
Dude,
that scene.
Like they were trying to push Jinx into a spinoff. No, give me a spinoff with Nomi and Paloma.
Yeah, I watched the shit out of that.
Oh hell yeah!
The best part about that fight, though, is that they're fighting for like 3 or 4 minutes. They stop. He fixes a martini for the both of them before they continue, and I'm like,
and dude, she can down it.
Yeah,
she's just chugging that stuff.
Mike, the little peek behind the curtain. That's water.
Oh, I mean,
yeah.
But
this is not, however, and it's delicious.
Jug.
No, no. I've got 4.5 ounces of liquor in this drink. No. There is nothing. The only thing that doesn't have alcohol in it is the lemon peel, and that's already absorbing the alcohol. So
no. Autumn would have some severe words for me if you.
Yeah, exactly. Here, no, it really was, Mike. Let me show you the video. The fight was so much fun. And that's the thing. I mean, as much as I love the Craig Bond movies, the fun is much more compacted.
Yeah.
I feel like as a Bond, Daniel Craig is the most well-rounded. He's the most like you can understand his mindset, what he is going through for once. He's not just the suave, debonair ladies' man, licensed to kill guy.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on there. When he cares hard.
Yeah, I'm gonna say he's not well-rounded. He's more 3-dimensional.
Yeah, okay, that's a way better term. He is. Yeah, he is. Uh, he is much more of a three-dimensional character. It's
Yeah.
almost like they decided to give him a character and not just make him a tuxedo that you can put yourself into.
And I'm so glad that they had that fight, which was so much fun because it then leads them to one of the many decisions. I'm like, why the fuck did you do that?
You're
Why
talking
did
about
you
the death of
kill off?
Felix Leiter, aren't you?
Why did you kill off Felix Leiter, one of the best
Because
characters?
they don't know what they're doing next. Felix is one of those characters that has been almost killed multiple times throughout the Bond thing. I mean, shit, he had his goddamn legs bitten off
By a shark.
by a shark. That wasn't a very nice honeymoon, but sorry, that line reading. And that dude won an Oscar later on. I feel like it was I feel like it was a good end for him because he went out on his own terms. It was a do not save me. You cannot save me. Do not save me. But at the same time, I feel like if we had gotten him in Skyfall and Spectre, his death would have meant a lot more. But because the last time we saw him was in Quantum,
and even then for only like about like what 5 minutes?
Yeah, about 10 minutes. He did have a pivotal part in getting Bond to green. So yeah, I can understand, but I mean, I legitimately think that when we start seeing Bond come back, I would not be surprised if Fiennes comes back, if Naomi comes back, if Q comes back, if Ben Whishaw comes back, if these characters come back, I'm fine with it because they're going to have to designate a new Bond. And as we saw in that hallway scene, all the films have a continuity to them. Because did you see the portraits of them?
I saw. Yeah, I saw the portrait of them. I didn't see one of Bernard Shaw.
Bernard Shaw, yeah. There's one of him. There is one of I think there was one of the other guy, and then there was one of Judi Dench. They're all in there.
Okay.
And it's a nice little Easter egg that I noticed and did the DiCaprio in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where I'm holding my drink and I'm like just pointing at the screen. This is a tough movie because I really, really enjoyed this movie because I felt like they were going to go out. They were going to go out with a bang.
And
I
they
can
did.
understand the length of the movie. I can understand being an issue for some. I can, especially because for Bond movies, they run long to begin with.
Yeah.
And I will say this about the Craig Bonds: you don't feel the length the same way that you did a Moore or a Brosnan Bond.
Yeah.
I remember that telling you that. It's like, why does this 2 hours and 12 minutes seem like it's going on forever? God damn you, Octopussy.
See, for me, like with like Brosnan, at least, it didn't feel as long. And in the other Craig movies did not feel. This one I felt long.
Like, this one, yeah, no, I definitely felt the length on this one.
Yeah, like after Blofeld was killed, I like paused and saw the time. Like, really, we're only about halfway through. The hell?
Yeah. But I feel like the way that this movie was written, in terms of just giving the characters more to do, being able to give the characters more life. This is the first time in Bond history where somebody drops an F-bomb. When M says fuck.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh. And for a minute I had to remind myself, and then when I went to go back and watch it again, I thought that Hanks that was like his only word, and it was just shit. Okay. I'm allowed to make that mistake.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we get to the second. again, the whole like a nanobot that once it gets on you, it's designed it never leaves and it spreads to everything you touch, and it's like you and they made a big deal about in the previous movie that like tracking thing that they put in was a bunch of nanobots.
Yeah.
So why can't they use the one nanobots to fight the other nanobots?
Science.
There were a lot of scientific like he's wearing an EMP on his watch. Wouldn't that kind of disable the nanobots in him? No, I guess not. Okay, that's why I had problems with the script. There was like,
Nothing can kill the grimace, Mike.
uh,
It's yeah. I mean, this is the first of the Craig movies where you really have to lean hard into the suspension of disbelief just to have a good time with this movie.
yeah.
I understand that, and I feel like they did compensate by coming up with the script saying that, okay, well, somebody's going to poke holes in this. Phoebe, liven it up, and she did.
Yeah.
I don't know how familiar you are with Phoebe Waller-Bridge's work.
I've heard the name, and I know I've seen other stuff she's done.
I've never watched Killing Eve, but Fleabag, which if you have Amazon, is a very good show. It is a very good show that she is essentially, it's just her. She, I can't remember the droid's designation, but she was in Solo.
Oh yeah, yes. She was L337. Leak.
Yeah, that was her.
Nice.
And I know that they gave her a lot of leeway in her lines there. This was going to be the Purvis and Wade show. The entire Craig series has been the Purvis and Wade show. But bringing her in to punch the script up, to be a script doctor, I felt did this, because if they didn't have her, I feel like this movie would have been a slog. It's a long movie. It is a very long movie. But I do not think you can refer to this as a slog the same way that other movies that are close to 3 hours long can be slogs.
No. It's like I said, when it clicks really well. And I love Daniel Craig in this one. I thought he did a great job, especially portraying like the the pain, especially in the second half. But that he's like, I'm not signing off in this script unless I get a Harrison Ford.
Yeah. Well, that was the whole thing. I think he broke his ribs fighting Batista in Spectre. And I think that was the moment where he's like, I can't do this anymore. I'm close to 50. At that time, he was close to 50. Yeah. He's over 50 now.
Yeah.
It's just like, I have to, as he put it, would get my kit on. He would have to get back in shape. These movies are physically demanding movies. And he's just like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
I will do one more for you. I owe you one. I'm going to do it. Let's literally go out on a bang.
Yeah.
And whereas, when you see, if you think about it, other than Connery, I don't even think they knew with Connery. This is the first time that a Bond movie is concluded where the actor knew they were done. And everybody around him, the producers, knew he was done. We're going to have to go back to the drawing board. I'm sure they thought they could get another movie out of Connery. They went 2 movies too much with Moore. And while they were probably like, he's gone, right? Roger Moore's like smoking a cigar going, oh no, I've got one more in me. Dalton, there are videos on YouTube about Dalton. What happened to the third Dalton movie? What happened to the 5th Brosnan movie? They were not alerted to, all right, oh, can't wait to make another one. Oh no, we hired somebody else. What? It's one of those things that I feel like if this were the very last James Bond movie, it's not.
Again, because James Bond will return.
James Bond will return. They are. This is a cash cow that will continue to go until my children are my age. But this was a way of letting Daniel Craig say goodbye with some dignity.
Hmm.
I mean, it
He didn't have his son or daughter stab him through the chest with a lightsaber, but it was something.
it was, it was a definitive end, and he was toasted at the end of it as well, which I loved.
Hmm.
Um,
That that was another minor quibble I had with this.
the toast at the end.
Well, no, not so much the toast. It's more like, because M's like, okay, toast, and the toast was fantastic. And they, all right, back to work. I'm like, he just launched missiles at an island being disputed by the Japanese and Russian. I think. Oh,
Definitely not too long as the payoffs were worth it. The length just hurts it in the rewatchable category. Nick, yes, yeah, very well done, Craig. Send off for sure. Nick, I watched this 3 weeks ago, and then normally I go back and I'll do a rewatch, and this one was like, can't. I'll watch a couple recap videos. It's still fresh enough in my mind. Thank you, Nick, for doing that. Yeah, I agree with you that this is gonna hurt the real. This ain't Casino Royale, kids.
yeah.
I can watch Casino Royale whenever it's on. It just hoves into my field of vision, and I'm watching it. But
But
no, well, Mike, if you think about it, they do have to go back to work now because now they have an international incident they need to clean up.
I was just thinking about he made the order to launch missiles, and he said they'd be asking questions. I'm thinking there'd probably be someone made the scapegoat, and M is the obvious choice. So I don't think he'd be going back to work. I think he'd be retiring, forcibly retired.
You can blame it on C. It was all C's fault.
C was dead at that point.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This is still his chicanery. Hey, we have Blofeld in there. It's C. It's
It's just it was a minor quibble, but it's like it just seems like back to work's normal, but you just caused an international incident.
But here's the thing, though, and okay, I understand that. I understand that, but at the same time, how many double O agents did they take the time out for to toast? That's the thing, is that Bond meant something to them. The 007 moniker meant something. That is why it was such a big deal when Naomi gave it up.
Yeah.
And it's also a big deal why a whole bunch of neckbeards' heads are going to explode. Cry harder, babies. You see, mansplaining, ladies, is just when a man explains things. I think overall, this is a tough movie to really review. I don't want to get too deep in the weeds because if you haven't seen it and you're still sticking with us and well, the internet ruined the fact that Bond is dead.
Yeah. There are more surprises in store.
There are, yeah. I mean, just wrapping up. I like the end fight scene. I felt like it was Bond fighting for his life, even though he was completely unaware that what he was carrying, that he was carrying a virus that was going to kill Madeline, kill his daughter.
Well, you just gave away one of the big surprises.
Sorry, but I told you there were spoilers early on. Nick's already seen the movie, so I don't need to worry about him. I don't know if Kurt's seen the movie yet. I don't even know if Kurt's on tonight.
I know there's only one person watching, so.
Yeah, that's Nick. Thank you, Nick. But yeah, I just feel like this is a must-watch Bond. I feel like there's certain Bond movies that you can skip. This is a must-watch because it ends a chapter. I feel like it earned its ending. I mean, it's not like we're 20 movies deep like we were with the MCU, where you earned Endgame.
Yeah.
And you earn this 3-hour length. I felt like, even though it does feel long, it earned the length at this point. It's again not like the Batman. I mean, the Batman. It's 3 hours. It could have easily been 2 hours, maybe 15 minutes if you cut out all that shit with Falcone and Catwoman. You still haven't seen the Batman yet, have you?
Nah.
Eventually, you're going to need to watch it because we're going to need to talk about it.
I just the trailers were just so dark. And I don't mean dark as in depressing. I mean dark as in I couldn't see anything in the movie.
You just have to ask yourself, how much more black could it be?
None more black.
None more black. All right, let's talk music. I'd just like to wrap with the music here. So this is Hans Zimmer. This is right up your alley, my friend.
Like I said, especially on the first viewing, I'm never concentrating on the music.
Right.
For me, the first viewing is just getting through the movie, just enjoying the theatricality of it all, and then subsequent viewing, I can get more into the filmmaking aspects. That's
fair. I feel like what stood out to me about this wasn't so much Hans Zimmer's score, because if you didn't tell me it was Hans Zimmer, I would have thought it was Thomas Newman. But he did grab music cues from other Bond movies. There's that great "We Have All the Time in the World" riff that is played early in the movie.
And then
they close the movie out with Louis Armstrong. This is the first time that they've reused a Bond song.
I mean, I did notice that they use the Bond theme an awful lot throughout the movie. Not so much. They didn't release too much of the audio, like the background music from No Time to Die.
That's tough, and that's the thing. We talked about this on our Bond song episode. I really liked No Time to Die. It doesn't have, because it's so quiet, it doesn't have that swelling orchestration that even something like Writing on the Wall has.
Yeah. And Skyfall had it too.
Yeah. Oh, Skyfall had it. I mean, it was in. You could hear it in Quantum of Solace. You could hear it in Casino Royale. Yeah. With this one, because it's primarily piano and Billie Eilish, you really can't incorporate it in. Now, the song itself, I really like. I feel like it was at the very least, a very interesting choice for them.
Yeah. I'll give it that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like the more I listen to it, the more it feels like it belongs on the radio, and not so much of other than the opening strains, which is Bond all the way, because that's how they get you. Yeah, they did it with Skyfall, and they did it with the Writings on the Wall. They just do that,
Yeah, it's a fine song. It doesn't feel tremendously Bondish to me. Which
it was surprising to me that they picked it. I mean, they struck while the iron is hot. Billie Eilish is hot.
Yeah. But I mean, it kind of fits with this movie in that this movie, the first half feels Bondish. The second half, not tremendously Bondish. It's more personal than most Bond movies get.
Right. Well, maybe I can put this a better way. I feel like the first half to 2/3 of this movie feel like a Daniel Craig Bond movie. Yeah. The last third of this movie feels like a Roger Moore Bond movie.
And it feels like a George Lazenby Bond movie.
There's no snow in this movie, though.
Yeah.
That's actually not true. There was snow in this movie. Damn it, I forgot about that. But I mean, you've got like the villain's secret lair with his weird henchman,
and in the lake of acid for some reason, and I'm guessing that like Russian turncoat scientist was just there for comedic relief, because why?
Exactly. You know what? He's like Boris.
Yes, that's good call.
He's there for comedic effect. He can be dispatched easily, and no one will shed a tear.
Nope.
And that's exactly what happened.
Yep.
I think overall, I mean, I think the test of time is still gonna be whether or not I like this better than Skyfall, because I love Skyfall as my second favorite Bond movie, but there's so much about this movie to love. And there is some stuff in this movie that is very easy to understand why people would be irritated by.
Yeah.
But if you rank the send-off movies of we're not counting Lazenby. Let's rank those send-off movies of Bonds, Connery, Diamonds Are Forever. I'm not even counting Never Say Never Again. Diamonds Are Forever. We covered on this because we feel it's the worst of the Connery movies.
Yeah, it's awful.
A View to a Kill is not nearly as offensive as Octopussy or Moonraker, but it ain't great.
I would need to go back and rewatch it. I've seen it once, and it's been a while.
The most exciting thing about that movie is the Duran Duran song.
Yeah,
that's it. I don't feel like you can even enter License to Kill in the conversation. There were only 2. There wasn't enough there to.
I actually think I like License to Kill more than this one.
Okay.
We're still friends, right?
Huh? Yeah, of course we're still friends. And then No Time to Die. No, sorry, not No
Die
Time
Another
to
Day.
Die. Die Another Day. God, all the die titles. It's just horseshit. It's just such a bad movie.
Yeah.
But
where would this? How would you rank the Craig movies?
All right. If I'm ranking right now with the high that I am still feeling, a few weeks to a month later on No Time to Die, it's Casino Royale. Of course, it's Casino Royale. It's No Time to Die, Skyfall, but they're very close. They could change. These to me are like Guardians 2 and Ragnarok in terms of where they sit. Spectre and then Quantum. Yeah. How about you?
For me, it would be Skyfall, Casino Royale, Spectre, No Time to Die, Quantum of Solace.
Okay.
There's just, for me, like I said, there are really great moments in this one, but there's just so much about it that just does not work for me.
And that's understand. I mean, I totally understand that, Mike. I can totally understand that. I feel like the Craig movies are there's so much subjective dialogue that we can have about this, because I watch ranking videos on the Bond movies. Spectre is usually like second to the bottom, which I don't get because Quantum is easily a worse movie.
Yeah.
This movie does show up very high on other critics' list because it had the license to do, it had the license to kill. It had a license to do what no other Bond movie could be, and that was a goodbye Bond.
Yeah,
and
I will say, like the Craig movies are still some of the better Bond movies than pretty much anyone else.
I think that in terms of this movie, while there were some stumbles in the middle, due to length, some of the issues with the story, I still feel like at the end of the day, this movie stuck the landing.
The kind of epilogue, it did. It was
the epilogue. How Bond went out, I felt that was heartfelt. It was earned. It's not like killing Superman off in his second movie where he is a secondary character. This was an earned exit for Craig. He can go off and do whatever. He can go off now and do Knives Out movies because those are amazing. I love Rian Johnson, and I can't wait to see more of those. But overall, I enjoy this one.
I liked how it went out, but I'm constantly bugged by the fact that, you know what, Q is really, really smart. He made that EMP. He used nanobots before. I'm certain if Bond had just decided to survive another year, I'm pretty sure Q would have found a cure for that and would have allowed him to be with his
Madeline and his child. Yeah, I know. Well, you weren't going to get another Craig movie.
I get the ending. I just think he could have had a happy ending. I wouldn't have minded that too much.
I wouldn't have minded it either, but unfortunately, Bond must go on, and that's the thing. If it's not Daniel Craig, it will be somebody else.
I would love to get I want to get the actress's name. No,
Lea Seydoux?
No, Lashana Lynch. I'd love to see more of her, but I'm fairly confident we will not.
unless Barbara Broccoli and Michael G. Wilson end up getting that Amazon series they've been holding over us.
What a Bond.
Amazon owns the rights to Bond.
I know they had the distribution rights. I didn't know they owned the actual.
They have the distribution rights, which means, and they've been talking about doing a Bond series, which, as long as it's, I feel like it could happen if it's outside of the film continuity.
Yeah.
And that might bring Lashana Lynch in, bringing Ana de Armas in, giving them something to do. You don't need Ben Whishaw. You don't need Ralph Fiennes. You know, just two girls on the road, killing people with a license to kill. That's all we need, right?
Yeah. One's 00, one's a CIA.
There we go.
It's a collision course of wackiness.
So, overall, I gotta say, I've enjoyed our conversations on the last month. Has been a lot of fun because they're all the Craig movies, and I just love Daniel Craig. But I am looking forward to moving on to something else.
Yeah.
We have another month coming up in a little bit too, but we're going to take a break from doing a serialized month of something.
Yeah.
And we're going to take a little break.
Yeah, we're taking a couple weeks off to do something else.
Another challenge series, as I like to call it.
Yeah, a challenge for you, which I've got a backup one, but I'm trying to think of like, is there something better I can inflict on you?
As long as it's available on streaming, that is the one thing, my friend. It's got to be available for both of us to stream.
And it's also
and mine is on HBO Max.
It's also got to be something you haven't seen before, which is
True.
A lot harder than finding something that's streaming.
Is that why you were asking about Sky High?
Uh-huh.
Okay. It's been forever since I've seen it, so it may as well be new.
Too, but
so anyway,
that I don't know if you'll like or not, because I don't think I'll like what you've got from me.
Give it a chance, man. It's not his TV output, but we'll talk about that later. What we want to know now is, what are your thoughts on No Time to Die? Where does this rank in your Craig? Where does it rank in your Bond rankings? Is this a high one? Is this mid-tier? Is this low? We want to know that. Leave a polite comment below. If you are new to this channel, if you're just happened upon this because you love Bond, hit that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up. We got an entire playlist of Bond movies. Not only that, but watch me make a Vesper Martini, which is also on the YouTube page and will be in the Bond playlist as well after we wrap this video. If you like what we do, you can also check out our podcast, which is available wherever you get your podcast, which is Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts. We are everywhere. So you can get us there.
iHeartRadio?
We've been on iHeartRadio forever. We just never talk about it.
Oh, nice.
All I use iHeartRadio for, quite honestly, is Casey Kasem's America's Top 40.
America's Top 40.
America's Top 40. Let me tell you a whole story about Corey Hart right now. He was a young man growing up in Canada. Oh, that was a detour. If you want to also, you can follow us on the socials at Geek Salad Radio on Twitter and at Geek Salad Podcast. Hey, maybe I might be accused of dick riding the Bond series, because apparently me showing any appreciation for anything is me dick riding. So, woo! Long story, not going into it. So anyway, check us out there. Also, you can buy our wares at the TeePublic store, which is keyword Geek Salad Podcast. You can check us out there. Whew. I cannot wait to talk about something else. I love Bond. I'm ready to move on.
Yeah.
So anyway, until next time, I'm Andy.
I'm Mike.
Go forth and be nerdful. Cheers, and we'll talk to you later.